Welcome to the Sound Like Us podcast, where we get the bedroom rock stars out of the bedroom and out into the world to hopefully get them the recognition they deserve. During the interview, we get to know an artist by asking about how important music is to them, from how their early lives shaped the musician they became, and their first taste of live music to their first foray into writing and producing and what they have planned for the future. Please like, follow, share, subscribe in all the usual places: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, Instagram and YouTube. Big thank you to everyone that's done so already. Please spread the word far and wide to your friends and family, and even that annoying prick you sit next to at work. If you like the podcast, please subscribe on whatever podcast platform you use. This helps give the algorithm a big old slap in the chops and gets those musicians even more of the exposure they deserve. If you're a musician, singer-songwriter, rapper, producer, DJ, MC, or even, God forbid, a drummer, and you fancy joining me on the podcast, please don't hesitate to get in touch and we'll get you on. We are also proud to announce that we've partnered up with our mates at East London Recordings. East London Recordings is an independent record label run by independent artists for independent artists. East London Recordings has grown into an influential label committed to helping artists realise their full potential. We will be working with East London Recordings by interviewing their artists on the podcast, giving them more exposure on their background, what inspires them, where they are performing, and what music they have coming out in the near future. There will be many more things to listen out and watch out for, so keep those eyes out and ears peeled. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show. Welcome to the Sound Like Us podcast, and a warm welcome on this lovely morning to today's guest, British Caribbean artist, producer, Monet Sun. Monet, welcome to Sound Like Us. How are you doing today?
Hi, thank you for the warm welcome. I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing okay. It's my day off. I'm really happy about that. Right, so let's start by having you telling us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So my name is actually Monet. Like, a lot of people ask me if my name's really Monet. That's my birth name. I was born in Hammersmith. I grew up between London, Brighton, and Barbados. And I'm a self-described genre fusion artist. So that means my work explores the journey of the drum between Africa and the Caribbean, and the migratory lifestyle of, like, you know, my family and ancestors, and like a lot of people who find themselves in London and England, the same kind of story is with them. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, London's very much a sort of melting pot of different sort of cultures and stuff. And I remember back in the day, all the kind of music you'd hear blasting out from the cars and people's windows. You'd hear reggae, hip hop, and all different kind of things. It was amazing.
Part of my upbringing as well. My parents loved garage music, R&B, reggae, everything.
Yeah, you could not move where I live in Croydon. You could not move for garage. It was everywhere.
Yeah.
So, talking of which, how did the music that your parents listened to, how did that influence you growing up?
So, put it under the description of a hazy nostalgia, because obviously at the time when it was like fully fledged, I wouldn't have even known what a club was. I'd be like, you know, staying with my grandma while my fairly, you know, young adult parents would be out gallivanting, you know, like, and it was very much like something that was imbued in me without me even realizing it. So I think that growing up, like, I really naturally gravitated towards that same music I'd hear in the car on the way to school.
Do you know, that's the complete opposite to me, because my mum and dad's music taste was horrendous. It's like all the old country music. I mean, I think it kind of influenced me a little bit, but it's so old and boring. Like, no, I don't want to listen to that.
Yeah, you're like, I need to go, like, I need to go where it's faster now, like, you know?
Yeah.
But I understand that too, because, like, on one side, I do love fast tempo, but on the other side, like, I'm very ambient, I'm very, like, chill, very calm.
Definitely.
So I gravitate towards that too. And my first kind of exposures to music were actually like church hymns, like in school in England, and then in the Caribbean even more. You know, I think that's all of us, like, our touch point is probably a church hymn. And then when I was at school in Barbados, our deputy head at the time, Mrs. Bailey, she was also a music teacher, an incredible woman. And, it was just really interesting because in one environment, for example, in primary school in Brighton, we're singing church hymns, and the teachers are like, hey, you can't sing louder than everyone else, you know. And I'm like, I'm not trying to, you know, sorry. And then in another environment, I have this amazing woman who's like, yeah, you come with me. I'm gonna teach you something. And she ended up giving me one-to-one tutelage on opera. So that was really where I began to like come into my voice and like, you know, I was there like 9, 10 singing in Latin and like all sorts, reading sheet music. Even now I look at sheet music and I'm like,
yeah. Do you know
I gotta get a little better at that again.
I'm quite similar because I could play trumpet and trombone when I was 8 and 9 years old. I could read sheet music. I can't make head or tail of it now.
Yeah, it's not like riding a bike. It is not like riding a bike. Right. Actually, yeah, that's true because I thought I was a pro, like in Amsterdam riding a bike. I got on a bike like last year and that was almost the enemy. I met pavement. Yeah.
All right. So how did your background and the places you grew up help shape you musically? You've sort of touched on it briefly just then. Do you want to elaborate on that a little bit more?
Sure. Let's see. Background. I would definitely say there's a theatrical aspect. There's like a concert kind of performance aspect to how I approach vocal technique and even like stage presence to an extent.
Yeah.
So I definitely had this kind of unique challenge. And I also think a lot of people that are classically trained have this kind of challenge where you are so to the book or you're so to the technique that when you try and veer off into other like more free-form creative things, you find it's actually really difficult because the technique is very rigid. So you have to like really loosen up. And I think that going from classical, and then when I was about 15, I sang more like jazz and soul music. And I had a teacher at the time called Errol Fenton, also another amazing man. And we'd be at Roundhouse in High Wycombe and he'd be teaching us and like preparing for these like local festivals and stuff. And I found that like I would have to modulate my voice and technique a little bit more to fit into like jazz or at that time neo soul. Like I remember singing Settle Down by Kimbra, and everyone would know Kimbra from Are You Just Somebody That We Know? That was her. But her whole discography was amazing and I was like obsessed at the time. So yeah, it was like modulating technique through classical into jazz. And then like coming up to this point, I've just graduated from Point Blank doing sound engineering and music production. And that's a really, really, really electronic focus institution. So while I was there and moved back to London from Barbados to do that degree, I found like I was having to modulate again for electronic music and like finding new ways to kind of fit what I knew and like how I wanted it to sound into like these new genres that I was producing and exploring. So I would say, yeah, a lot of transforming and like moving about.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot going on there. So tell us a bit more about your operatic training. How did that sort of start and who did you do it with?
So that was fundamentally, yes, Miss Bailey. She took me from our music class. We would meet I think it was about a week to twice a week. And she would walk me through like all the different techniques, how to use vibrato, how to modulate vibrato, like scales and scales and scales and scales and scales. She would take me through specific songs and arias like Schubert's Ave Maria and Pavarotti and like all, and she'd give me CD. She's like, take the CD, go home, listen to it, come back, you know, print off the lyrics and the sheet music with the notation and the lyrics in it. And like that was my whole life at that point, you know. I would go home like, oh my gosh, like so excited with these pieces of paper and just like, yeah, just really get into it.
Yeah. Cool. So your music blends a rich, unique mix of dancehall, alte, breakbeat with a touch of the classical discipline, which you've just sort of touched on there. How do you work all these influences together when making music?
Making music. So I'm I always aspire to be like a polymath, and I'm involved in every stage of the process. So I'm involved in like whether that's beat selection or creation, down to like the composing, arranging, writing, and heavy input on the mixing and mastering. I think a big part of my artist journey, making a place to belong was realizing, okay, it's okay to, what's the word? Like, it's okay to collaborate. It's okay to take some things off your plate. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of recording myself. Like, I can record myself if I'm trying to like play around or something or figure something out. But when it comes to like, okay, this is it. Like, I don't like to record myself. I like to be in a live room, maybe in the dark, like, you know, and just have someone kind of like pressing the button for me so I can just really go somewhere and like dig into the feeling that I've kind of conceptualized in the lyric writing stage and the arranging stage. So that's about making it. Like, that's kind of my process in making it. And then when it comes to even the concept of fusing all those things together, I think it came quite naturally. Like, I found myself kind of in the beginning of my degree being like, okay, I want to make music that people haven't heard before, you know? Kind of, yeah, or like hasn't been made before. And like, as I was learning, I kind of distilled that into, okay, like there's actually strength in familiarity. Like, people do resonate with familiarity, but I think what I was more aiming for was a level of uniqueness. So even if it sounds like, oh, like people sometimes tell me you sound like this or it sounds like this, and there's like a little thread that they're holding on to that reminds them of something they like, but the actual output is unique and they're like, okay, but yeah, it's you, I can hear you. So I think my mission kind of transformed into, no matter what genre I do, I want there to be a clear thread of me in it. So this is the A side of, which is now a 4-sided project. So there's going to be A, B. Now? I know, right? Like when we spoke, I was like, it's dual-sided. Now I'm like, there's 4.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's becoming
one of my questions then.
Yeah, just like put asterisks or a little cross, like.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I just realized, like, once I distilled that goal, that I can really go anywhere with it. Like, I can really go anywhere, do anything, and just bring my authentic voice, my authentic perspective, and my authentic experience, because no one else has really had my exact life, been in my exact position. Even if they've moved between London and Barbados, like, they haven't had the exact steps or reasons as to why. And I feel like, yeah, that's valuable for anyone, you know. That's our gold. Like,
yeah. So it's important for you to have the relatability, but for people to notice that you're sort of taking things forward a little bit.
Yeah. I'm really big on progressive. Like, I want anything I do, I want it to feel like it's pushing a needle forward, for sure.
You can definitely hear that in your music.
Thank you.
Right. So I've put in a random question for you now. So a nice little curveball. If you could take any person to any concert in history by any artist, A, who would you take? B, what gig would it be? And why would you take that person to that gig?
Oh my God, that is a huge question. It's like, you know, if you could have dead or alive. It's like,
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I'd probably, you know what? I've had bucket list concerts and I feel like I've kind of ticked a lot of them off. So I wanted to see Kalela because I love her. I saw her, cried in the audience, like had the time of my life. She was amazing. I saw her at All Points East like 2 years ago. I wanted to see FKA Twigs. Craziest thing happened. Like, I joined her IG live. She was like, "You're so nice. You're so pretty. Cool. Nice to meet you." Her team sent me a vinyl. They sent me 2 tickets. They sent me meet and greet. I was like,
really?
So I invited my mom. Well, this is the thing. I invited my mom, and I don't know, it was some communication thing, but like, you know, we're on our Caribbean timing. So by the time I realized what time we had to get there, where we were, we didn't get to the meet and greet. But I already had the vinyl that they sent, and I was able to take my mom to an FKA Twigs concert. So that was really like, enough. And I feel like
that is cool.
in life we may run into each other one day again, like, you know, and hopefully it's a sweet thing, a sweet reunion. Like, I have so much love to give her.
You might be able to do an Instagram live where she comes on and you can invite her to your meet and greet. You never know.
Invite her to my damn house for dinner. She could come to dinner. I don't even mind. But yeah, so that was bucket list for sure. Having my mum there, like, what even FKA Twigs means to me as a fellow British Caribbean artist, pushing the needle. Like, I've liked her since I was 15.
Yeah.
that kind of took the cake in a lot of ways. And like, you know, my mom's so cool. She had the time of her life. Like, yeah, it was great.
Yeah,
but I think if I had to manifest one, I feel like I would take, oh no, this is tough. The two people in my mind, MJ or Prince. I would take my mentor, Lyrical, to an MJ concert or a Prince concert. We would have to go to one of them. Yeah, that's gonna be my, you know, I've seen Beyonce. I went to Cowboy Carter with a friend. Like, I saw her.
Yeah.
I can see her again.
You take that off.
You can't tick that off. That would have to be my ticket. Yeah.
I think for me, if it is one of them two, it'd be MJ, I think.
Yeah, you know, like,
it's a tough one.
It's an endlessly tough question.
Yeah. I thought I'd challenge you with that one. Right. So, what was the first piece of music that you ever wrote?
That I ever wrote.
Which usually brings bad memories back for people who ask this question too.
I could sing it for you.
Okay.
Actually, no, I remember it. The first song that I ever wrote, like, yeah, we got one in the bag. We got a hit on our hands. I think how old was I? I want to say I was 9 or 10. I was living in Barbados and I was at math camp. The first of many math camps. I'm still not a mathematician. I was at math camp, but it was kind of like a, you know, like summer camp. They had other activities, but it was like, you're gonna learn something, okay? Like, the kids in Barbados are very smart. Like, the teachers are very on point.
We did not have that here.
Listen, so after the grueling activities, we're allowed to like go out into the, you know, like the playground, kind of like have our lunch times, whatever. And I just remember like kicking about the grounds, and I was just thinking to myself, like, the song just came to me, and I was walking around, and I was like, emotions connect to your emotions, deep as the ocean, precious as a pearl.
You came up with that at 9 years old. Wow.
And I was like, we got it. Let's go.
Imagine
and I remember it, like,
you
know what I mean? Like, and it sticks to me to this day. Like, and I was trying to think if there was anything before that, but I think that was like my first penned song. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was beautiful. I mean, I wish I could have come up with that when I was like 25 or something. My first song I wrote was when I was 14 or 15. I don't want to think about that again.
What was it about? Okay, you don't have to sing it, about what was the...
I don't think I could sing it when I wrote it. It was called Laser Beam Dreams, and it was a complete rip-off of Oasis.
Title, though?
I need to go back to it. Maybe I can come up with something from it.
Reheat your nachos. Yeah. Come on.
That's one way to think of it. So, what was the first concert you ever went to, or first experience of live music? It might be any kind of live music in the church or whatever. Anyway.
First concert. Hey. That's a toughie. I feel like, no, I remember. The year is 2014, roundabout. I'm in England, right? I've moved back to England. I've been there for about a year or so. While I was in Barbados, like since at least 2010, like I was a huge My Chemical Romance fan, right? I was like, my friend literally, like, when I left, she gave me like a little bundle. She gave me like My Chemical Romance pencils and like badges, and I literally had a little wall in my room in High Wycombe of like posters, and I stuck the pencils on the wall. I was just like, yeah, I loved them.
Yeah.
And I remember they were all as a band at Reading Festival, and I was like, damn, I gotta go. Didn't go, missed it, right?
What?
I think it was within like the span of 2 years, like they did that, they broke up. I was like, oh my gosh, I really messed up. I missed it. I was quite young as well. So Reading Festival was a bit like, I'd never been to a festival. I was like, I don't know how I was going to get there, you know?
Yeah.
So I was like, down, I missed it. That's that. And then another Reading Festival came up, And mind you, in High Wycombe, Marlow, we're quite close to Reading. And by that time, I had like a gang of friends. So we're like, yeah, we're going to go to Reading Festival. And our parents are going to pick us up every day because we're not allowed to camp there. So we went, and I wasn't able to see My Chemical Romance, but I got to see Gerard Way, his first solo appearance. And if I tell you, Martin, if I tell you how I claw my way to the front, my friend was like, excuse me, I'm so sorry, excuse me. I was like,
You just had to be there.
be there. He had the bright red hair, like this bright colored suit, and he was just shaking his little tush. I was like, yes, oh my God. So that was like why I wanted to go. I was like, and then who else did we see in that time? Was it? No, that was another festival. I forget what that one was called, but I saw Tame at the other festival when I was a few years older and I moved down to Brighton and whatnot. I think it was not Outlook. Something like Outlook, I think. We saw Tame Impala and Papa Roach.
Oh, wow.
And I was on my friend's shoulders and I have like my hair out in an afro, and I remember distinctly Papa Roach was like,
At you? They pointed at you?
I don't see no one else with an afro out here. That got to be me. That has to be me he's pointing at. So, yeah.
Wow.
Just another fun fact.
For 2 first gigs, that's impressive. I mean, my first
And Tame
gig
Impala.
was,
Yeah.
Oasis at Wembley. I was quite happy with that. But yeah.
Yeah. You loved
incredible.
Oasis. You loved Oasis.
It's so predictable.
Oh my God. They are lit. They're good.
I can guarantee that since I was 17 when I first saw them, I have branched out musically. So I'm not, one
Super fan. You're like, I'm not a super fan. I'm just like, I'm a mega fan, not a super fan.
Yeah. I used to hate Blur because Oasis told me to. And then I grew up, and then, you know what? Blur are quite good. They're actually pretty good.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah. Right. So what was the first gig that you ever did? Your first ever live performance?
Okay, we're going to throw it back, and it would have to be the concert where I sang the arias. That was the first performance I ever did. My mom had like a camcorder. I was wearing like a bright pink satin dress. I had my hair back. I had a little shawl, and I was,
Wow.
just like I was just up there singing, and my music teacher was like, I know that's right, and my parents were like, what the hell? And yeah, that was the first time I ever shut it down. Yeah.
Amazing. So where was that? Was that back in Barbados?
Back in Barbados. I went to a school called Providence Elementary, and it was a lot smaller than it is now. Now it's an elementary and a secondary school, but back then it was just an elementary school. And like it was just a couple shadow houses, and you walk down and there was like a big kind of activities room, like did extracurriculars, or they just put the chairs in and made it like a little concert.
Great. Sounds good. Was there a lot of people there?
There were a lot of people there. There was definitely, it was, like I said, it was kind of a small school, and it was like a multi-year concert. And I was in like the second to most senior year or something. And they had all the little babies kind of singing together. And then I think I was the only soloist though, so. Yeah, but it was a small school. Like there were 4 people in my class at the time. It was new at the time.
So looking back at your live performance background, what would you say is your best performance?
My best performance. My latest performance, which I think is what it should be, right? Like it should just be like your best one was the one you just did.
Yeah.
I just performed all the songs from the EP at Great Escape, alternate Great Escape event that was at the Strong Rooms in Brighton. So it was great because I was already here. And yeah, like the room was warm, welcoming. There were a lot of singer-songwriters, a lot of beautiful, beautiful kind of like guitar music, There was a band after me that kind of sounded like Oasis. I was the only person doing like electronic music, like what I do. And the room was still like, a girl and her mum came up to me, and it was really sweet because she was like, ask for her Instagram. And I was like, hi, and then I was able to talk to them and like, I like when young women think I'm cool. When girls, even when you walk by and you have an outfit or you do something and you can see like a little girl look at you like, you look cool, you know? I love that.
Yeah, I think that's majorly important because I've got two young daughters as well, and so I want them to be able to grow up in a world where they can see women perform and they can see that it's accessible for them. And I guess for yourself, you can see, well, you know, this is really hitting home for people and they're relating to it and they can see that what's possible.
Yeah.
What is the music scene in Brighton and Shoreham, etc.? What's it like down there?
Buzzing.
Is it?
Buzzing. Even Shoreham's like, you know, I think my family's, it's tiny. My family moved down here like 15 odd years ago and it was like nothing. There was nothing. And even a few years before, like 7 years ago, it was just like charity shops and nothing. And then it was like a few cafes and then like, you know, the pub started getting a little lively and now you hear live music like every other day. A pub is having another live set. Someone's in there performing. There's a recreation center. They show movies, have shows, and like that's just Shoreham. So by the time you get into Brighton, it's just like so much more. But I think it's very much like you stumble across it or like you kind of gotta know about it. You know, even Strong Rooms. I've walked past that venue so many times. Anyone that knows Brighton knows North Street, knows the Clock Tower. It's literally right next to the Clock Tower. Never in my life. It never occurred to me. Never occurred to me to go in there. You have to know. You have to know something's happening. And like you might go in a bar on a certain night and it's like it's quiet, it's dead, and then you go another night and like everyone's vibing and it's an open mic or like something's happening. Yeah.
Wicked. So what would you say is your favourite venue to perform?
Favourite venue to perform that I've done so far? Or like so
or that
far?
you might have been to, you might want to plan to go there to play?
Okay. So far, I have to say top venue has to be Troy Bar in Hoxton. I performed there. Yeah. No, it's in Hoxton, called the Troy Bar. And it's lit. It's like one floor, you know, kind of a divey, just go in and it's the bar and then like the little open dance floor stuff. They serve Caribbean food in there. So once you get too drunk, you can just get some rice and peas and like chow down. They do great nights. They do like open mics, open jams. I was there. I've gone to the open mic once or twice. And then I was there as a residency with a band that was led by someone called Phil Ramacone. And we did like acoustic house music. It's a live band, but we're doing like Crystal Waters and like Michael Jackson and like all these different energetic songs. And like he invited me to come with them and perform, and that place used to get jumping, and it's not like the stage is up. The stage is like a step. So you could easily step down and then you're just in the middle of everybody dancing, vibing. And I feel like that's the first instance I've had of that. Like everyone is literally moving around you and like hyping you up and you are like in full control of the vibe. Like what you're doing is in full control of the vibe. That's the first time I ever had that and it was amazing.
So you can sort of look people in the eye and you can sort of see the reception you're getting off the crowd and that kind of...
Look people in the eye, you dancing with them. They're trying to spin you around and you getting down low with them and everything. Like,
wicked.
Yeah, really, really cool.
That's what music should be about.
Yeah.
Right, so one more random question for you. So be prepared.
Okay, I'm ready.
If you could save 5 different albums by 5 different artists from a burning building, which 5 are you going to choose?
Wait, 5 different albums from 5 different artists that what?
From a burning building. If you had
From a burning building?
Yeah.
Hold on.
But...
I got some right here. Okay, first of all,
Tina,
we're going with this.
What was that called?
This one, we got Private Dancer.
By Tina Turner.
The legs. I'm saving the legs. We need that. I could go through this whole cupboard I got right here and pull out the ones I would save because that's what I would have to do. But it wouldn't be 5. I'd be walking out this house with my arms like this. Like, oh my gosh, I got Carlos Santana in there, like MJ albums. Like, I feel like I would have to go with some classics, some like fundamental classic albums. Yeah, like those are the things I would go for. Thinking off the top of my head is really hard though. Like actually naming like which ones. Yeah, I don't know. That was
Put you on the spot.
yeah, that's so on the spot.
To be fair, I think people wouldn't. Anyone listening to this that knows anything about music, but the artists you've mentioned, they know which ones. They know the albums.
They know which ones they do.
They know which MJ albums, which Tina Turner albums, Carlos Santana.
Okay. Or even like, no, you got to excuse me. I got ADHD. I'm thinking of songs, and then my mind's starting to think of colors. Like it's going everywhere. I can't do it. Me can't do it.
Fair enough. But you're a big lover of loads of different types of music, so that's fair enough.
There's a lover of what?
You're a lover of all different types of music and far too many.
Yeah. Like I'd grab a Brian Eno, like you know what I'm saying. I don't know anything I could see that by someone I like, I would just grab because in that situation it's too high pressure.
Wicked. Maybe you should keep all your albums in a fireproof flight case or something. Just grab it and all go. Right. Out of all of your songs, which is your favourite to perform live?
My favourite song to perform live. Excuse me, that last question made me sweaty. Listen, I'm very experiential. I started thinking, oh my God, what about the dog?
Yeah.
I would say my favorite song to perform live would have to be probably Associate from the EP. It's the last track. It's the one that on the A side. There's a last track on the A side. I feel like it leads into what's going to happen on the B side quite well because of the breakbeat elements that are kind of weaved into it, even though it's an alte and soul song. I think the message is really, oh wait, you lie. It's not the last track. It was the last track in my old arrangement. It's now the first track. It's the first track of the EP. And I feel like the message is really powerful for me. Like when I wrote it and when I would start to sing it, like it would bring me to tears a lot just because of the simplicity of like having your faith tested as an artist, as a person, as a woman, as like a Black woman, and what faith has like meant to me in my life. And I get personal. I kind of rap about like aspects of myself that I keep hidden, and then I've composed it in a way that it ends in this like massive crescendo where I'm like holding a note for like 15-20 seconds or something like that. So I wanted it all to be like this big challenge of like moving through the emotionality, you know, moving through the self-doubt, and then moving into like a release with the long crescendo and like the belt. And even though it's an electronic song, like I've kind of tempered my voice in it so that I'm kind of like hopping around the beats with my flow.
Yeah.
So by the time it gets to the end, it's just like pushing through the drum, the djembe that I featured on it, which is just like the talking drum. And it's this instrument that was and still is like culturally used to send messages and to tell stories because of how rich the sonic of it is, and depending on how you hit it or where you hit it is making another sound. And I feel like that's a really good representation of even, I suppose, like my personality and my mentality. Like depending on what perspective I come from, it's another sound. So I love to perform that because,
So it's a song that sort of conveys your emotional sort of sense on stage, kind of.
Yeah, and I think it's impressive too. Like people kind of like, damn, like she really, really ripped. And I'm like, I feel good. I feel like lighter after I sing it as well. And
Your latest project, A Place to Belong, was a two-sided sonic memoir. It's now four-sided.
Yeah.
I believe. A four-sided sonic memoir exploring identity through duality, heritage and modernity, discipline and freedom, London, Africa and the Caribbean. How important are those three places, London, Africa and the Caribbean, to you personally and musically?
Really important. Really, really important. I haven't had the pleasure or the privilege of going to many places in Africa. Like I recently went to Morocco with my family. The people were so warm. The country was beautiful, you know, the culture is beautiful, and I'm really, really excited to like discover more places. And then when it comes to the Caribbean, my family on my mum's side is Jamaican, so like my grandma who's here in West London, my great grandparents who I was blessed to be able to meet and talk to and hug and love on, like even if it was only one time that I went to Jamaica and I was a child, like it was a beautiful time. And like even going there, like we had a lot of farmland, and I had this really vivid memory of like going on the land and seeing people living on the land and seeing crops and like so much life. And when we came back up to the car, my great granddad went back, disappeared into the bush for like 5-10 minutes and came back out with this massive green huge fruit I've never seen in my whole life. And he's like, yeah, cracked it open on the hood of the car basically, and it's like bright yellow inside. It was a jackfruit like I never seen. It was not even a thing that existed in my mind. So the fact that that came from land that like my great grandparents were stewarding, and it tasted delicious, it smelt like bubblegum, like all of these things are just so vivid in my mind, and they really remind me of like just my connection to the land, like whether it's Jamaica and like the Black and indigenous people that like make up my lineage in Jamaica, the Black and indigenous people that make up my lineage in Barbados, the steps that the Caribbean islands are taking to strengthen their connections with Africa, especially Barbados. I'm so proud of Barbados, and I'm so proud of our leadership, like our Prime Minister Mia Motley. Like she's done really, really amazing things. Like there was a ceremony held with Ghana to like return the bones of some of our ancestors back to like where they belong. Like that is insane if you think about it. That's something like you know, even my great grandparents probably couldn't even think like why that people would care about, you know. So I think that those places are just, they're connected off rip, so it's just natural that, you know, you get a feeling of like intrigue or longing when you think about like, wow, like I wonder how much history that we've lost or how much history there is to reclaim. And like, because you've lost it and you reclaim it, like it's not this, it's the same history, but it's not, because you're looking at it through a different lens. And then again, like there's another story of the people that, you know, my ancestors that were in Africa and they were brought to the Caribbean, and then the ancestors that decided to willfully leave the Caribbean and come here. That's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother intention around and purpose around that migration and what happened when they got here to England. Like
bravery to do it as well.
The bravery, the techers. My great grandfather came here in his best suit. That's how I know. That's how I know the story. He came here in his cleanest suit, his bestest suit, you know? And they came with a mission. They came with a purpose. They got here. They found so many new things, so many tribulations, and so many of them still, they made it work. They thrived. You know what I mean? They achieved. They like, it's just, how can I not feel empowered, you know? And how can I not want to like uplift that story and uplift that narrative and like continue it on?
Yeah, I mean, I think that generation that came over from the Caribbean at that time, especially post-war, helped rebuild this country. And it's something I don't think we don't recognise it enough.
Seriously. And they were invited. The Queen was like, please come. You are cordially invited. Please come. You know? So the fact that, you know, I'm going to leave it there. She invited them. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah, exactly. So, as we've alluded to before, A Place to Belong is split into 4 sections. What was the thinking behind that?
So, the thinking behind the 4 sections is still similar thinking to the dual-sided aspect, but I've just expanded upon the world a bit more. So, before it was A-side, B-side. Now it's A-side, B-side, D-side, C-side. And as you can kind of hear, like, they sound like words as well. And not only do they sound like words, they also kind of hark back to the haze and nostalgia and the vinyls and like all these things that like I've rediscovered and I have a lot of passion for. Like I feel like it feels retro, you know, like ultimately I want it to be like a double vinyl physical product, which is literally, you know, A side to D side. And each of the sides are gonna be exploring a different mixture of genres, essentially. So I feel like, yeah, I feel like the genres and the ego that I've like discovered in myself, they're gonna be really woven into like the concept of a four-sided project. Like it's going to be four aspects of myself, four genres that I'm focusing on. They all line up as well. A, B, C, D, they all mean something. I'm quite intentional, and like English literature was my favorite subject in school. So, you know, I love to sit down in class and have your pen, have your highlighter, and it's like, oh, F. Scott Fitzgerald, when he wrote this, what could he have meant? You know what I mean? Like, God knows. Like, he probably just wrote it and thought, yeah. But sometimes you really do see, like, whether conscious or there is a thread that's, like, tying different concepts together, and there are, like, reoccurring themes. So I want people that engage with my work to, like, be of that persuasion. Like, I want them to be kind of freaky like that. Like, oh, what could she possibly have, like, what does this mean? Oh my gosh, like, you need a certain level of, to really, like, appreciate how she's laid this out.
So there's kind of like you want to challenge people when they're listening to it.
Yeah, it will be a challenge, because I think in totality, with the way that the music industry currently is and like commercialized, people really, or like the powers that be, you know, the industry or mass, whatever, they really want to put you in a box. And the quicker they could put you in the box, the better. The easier they can market you, you know what I mean? Like, the easier they can put you on a billing. Like, it's just easy, because, like, before anyone even buys into, like, the uniqueness of the artist, they already know, okay, that's a neo soul artist, or okay, that's an R&B artist, or that's an Afrobeats artist, and it's just kind of tied up in a neat little bow. But my message and my goal is about not flattening ourselves for that. You know, I feel like we should be able to exist as complex creative beings and explore all the facets of that. Yeah.
Good. So what is your memories of recording? What was the first thing you recorded? Where was it done? Etc.
The first thing I recorded, I think I was 14, and I recorded a song. I produced and recorded a song on GarageBand with my iPhone headphones. Yeah, it's still on SoundCloud somewhere. I think I reposted it from my old account on my current SoundCloud. It is called Contradictions. I think I actually like remade it as well. Yeah, I was just trying a lot of different things, but it was called Contradictions, and it was kind of like, you want the yin and the yang, I want the yang and the yin. Deal with the good and the bad, live with the bad and the sick. Are we going out to anywhere in particular, or are we just drifting? I want the yin and the yang, you want the yang and the yin. Break it down. Yeah. It was fun. I was like, I felt very groovy, you know, like I was deep in my, like, that's at the same time I was like loving Kimbra, what she was doing, like in her kind of soulful, jazzy, electronic, like out there sense. I was loving Janelle Monáe. That was like what was it, Metropolis album? Like, not the Android album. And then Erykah Badu, like, I just always loved her. Like, it was just these women that were just like so left field and so amazing, and just like, even aesthetic wise, like they were all just out there. And like, I just remember very distinctly even studying like how they performed and how they moved, like in music videos and on stage. And it was just so like angular, and like they were just like feeling it. And yeah, so I just wrote that, and I just wanted it to just feel like explosive, like how I felt when I heard those songs too.
So how do you record now? Do you have a studio? No. Do you have a producer that you work with? Or?
So I actually just invested in updating my hardware. When I first joined my degree, I had like a Rode 1T, a and like an M audio interface and like some JBL monitors. And the JBL monitors are still working. But after making and recording A Place to Belong, which actually the A side, I did that for my dissertation. That was my last project in uni. And I was just like, yo, there's no way I'm spending all this time doing a project and I'm not putting that out. Ain't happening. Because I had so many friends graduating around me or like finishing the course. And I'm like, what are you doing with the dissertation project? And they're like, oh, just like, I wasn't really thinking to put it out. And I'm just like, nah, like, there's no way. There's no way. So I recorded that in point blank with the help of a producer called Soup. He like vocal engineered for me. And that was recorded on the TLM 103 with, the interface. I can never remember the name of it, but like, basically, I replicated the same setup. I did the same setup. I was like,
in my head anyway.
Yeah, for any of the nerds watching, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, don't know. Not me.
So it's this German brand called Neumann, and they're really good and they're quite pricey, but I was able to kind of like fandangle it and financery, and so I've replicated that setup because for the work that I'm going to do now for the rest of the size, like I want it to, that thread of me and like my vocal chain and vocal quality and everything like that, I needed it to be consistent. And so I replicated that, and I usually work like with the same vocal engineer. We kind of piece that all together and then do the mastering, the mix master at Talyard, in one of the studios in Talyard. Yeah, so I'm not too worried about the monitors because I know like there are some big boy speakers elsewhere that I can like go and listen to and get a proper read. And sometimes like the little monitors, like they give you a good idea of like what's going on and like how someone's going to hear it, like on a phone or like on a laptop too. So they're still valid.
Yeah, good. So is there a track of yours that carries a deep personal meaning for you?
Yeah. All of them. Yeah, I don't think I write. My ethos is kind of like complex emotional meaning in shorthand, in an understandable, digestible, catchy, vibey way. Like, I like when things can be really, really soulful and really accessible or danceable, and I like that contradiction. Like, I would say the first song that I ever like released, and it's still up right now. It's called Circles, and I put it out in 2023 just to see what that felt like even releasing a song kind of on streaming. And like I didn't really know exactly what I was doing and like how to market and stuff like that, and I'm still learning, I'm still teaching myself, but I've got really nice responses from it, like kind of like, wow, I feel seen, to this is a vibe, I play it when I play PlayStation. Like the range is wide and I like that. And I would say like it's very deep. It's a very, very deep personal meaning. The concept is basically being in a relationship or a situation that you are just coming to acknowledge may not change, or like trying to go through cycles of healing and feeling like it's not changing, but it's just like something that's coming around, or like something that keeps on happening. And I kind of formulated it in a way where you hear my vocal in the back just like cyclically going, spinning circles, just as a layer. And then the other lyrical content is like, that's kind of spinning like this, and then the main vocal spins more slowly, where my delivery is kind of like drawn out, so it feels like a big circle spinning around a little circle. Yeah, so I wanted it to actually feel like the shape as well. Yeah.
Good. Can you think of a piece of music that had a major impact on you as a teenager and you've carried it through your life up until now?
Okay. There was one song. You know what's really funny? I feel like as a teenager, like I was just like heartbroken, like in general. So it didn't even matter if like I had a crush on someone. Like me having a crush on someone or unrequited love was just a vehicle to or a conduit to like express my heartbrokenness. Like the person almost didn't even matter, but it was just the fact of the matter. And I would definitely say around that time, and even when I hear the song today, sometimes it's like a defining song. I probably played it like 100 million times, and it is "When We Were Young" by The Killers.
Okay. I wasn't expecting the Killers. Wow.
Oh, The Killers had they had kind of like a vice grip on me and my taste at one point, like when I was like 16, 15, 16, 17, you know, maybe about 18, I was kind of like, okay, like, I'm gonna put it down. And then, like, I liked a lot of that kind of more sadder music. I'm not really a sad music person now. But if I hear that, I'm still kind of like, and it's just something about how they sing and the music video. The music video was like, oh my God. It was just, everything was just so dramatic and impactful at the time, and how he was kind of in the video and just observing this couple like going wrong, and just kind of like the singer in a bar, you know, and his delivery was just so cool, but the song was so sad. And like, the lyrics, it was so true. Like, he doesn't look a thing like Jesus, but he talks like a gentleman. Like, you know, like that kind of like, you're almost, as a young woman, you're almost socialized to delude yourself a little bit. Like, you're socialized to look for the happy ending. Like, and I feel like that's just such a good song and such a good video to exemplify, like, even after you get the perfect happy ending, like, it might not be perfect. Like, it doesn't end there. Life still goes on, and it can still go wrong. Like, I know when to leave.
They're a good band. Killers.
Yeah.
So out of all of your live shows, what is kind of a moment that sticks out to you, like a crowd reaction, moment of connection, moment of magic, something funny that might have happened you can think of?
Yeah. So the show that I meant, like one of the festivals I did when I was a teenager, like back in High Wycombe, it was only like 2 probably I did, and then life started lifing, and I kind of like, so I remember the first one I ever did, there's 2 pretty funny reactions. Like, there's a video my family took, and I'm like on stage and I'm doing all this like angular erratic dancing, and my dad's in the background kind of like, whoa, she's really going for it. I just find that endlessly funny at his like perplexedness, or kind of like, what is happening? But like, you know what, hell yeah. And then after that performance, I remember I just kind of like, I don't know, for me, it's like I have these kind of modalities. Like, I'll be locked in and doing something, and then I'll just be like, meh, okay. Like, you know, like I can't see myself. So for a long time, like not seeing myself, I kind of didn't understand like my own impact in a way too. But it was a thing that happened after I've come off stage. I'm just walking around like the local superstar that was just on the stage. I went to go get a waffle, and this dude came up to me, and he was just like, you were so amazing. And he was like talking to me, and I was just kind of like, I've never had someone come up to me at a show. Like, you know, I've never had this experience of someone who kind of like felt like they could have been a fan of me, you know, and I didn't even know what that meant, or like, there's just so many things I was just like kind of oblivious to. But now it's, you know, it's everywhere. Like, as soon as you make music, you have like 50 videos on your timeline, like how to get fans, how to like, so that reaction was really cool. And I don't know, like, I just think about it sometimes. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, sometimes we're not aware of the impact we have on people, like, especially like doing the podcast. I get people come up to me at work and they say, I've been watching your podcast recently. What?
You're watching my podcast?
So you're watching me? Come off it.
Why? What? Yeah, exactly. Like, we're just doing and existing, and like, especially when you're creative as well, because, you know, that is kind of like pulling something out of nothing. So for a lot of people that just witness it or hear it or something, that kind of seems like, you know, mystical a little bit. They're kind of like, like, where did that come from? How did you do that? They don't see that you have to like write the questions. They don't see that you have to rehearse the song. Like, there's a lot of things they don't see, and then you just get the output. And I feel like really great performers and really great creatives, like, I don't know, like, I think about even Beyonce a lot. Like, there's a million things that she's done, and by the time you see her, it's just like this flawless presentation, and you would never even think that she rehearsed it. You think that just come out of her body, like she just got there and was like, bah!
There's so many different working parts that have to come together at the same time to make it happen.
Yeah,
unbelievable. All right. When you play live, is it just yourself, or do you have a backing band with you?
been
does it
different
work?
configurations.
Yeah.
Usually, so when I was in Troy Bar, it was like covers. I had a band. That was a keyboardist, but Phil is like, he's quite talented, so he played like keyboard and bass on like 2 keyboards. It looks crazy, but he could do it. And there might be a backing track of something, and then like a guitarist. We had a trumpeter, and maybe even a percussionist. They're like that little percussion on the side. So that was one setup. I've had, like if I'm with a band, it's usually like 4 or more people. Like it's usually quite a big band. Recently in Barbados, I did a few acoustic, like kind of freeform sets of my music for open mic collective called Third Space. And same thing, they're comprised of like a drummer, guitarist, backing singer. There's a flutist sometimes, a bassist, and then me. So that would be like 7 of us, you know? And it's beautiful. I love, if it's a band, I like there to be people on stage. Otherwise, it's me in a backing track. And I'll turn it up, like just
that
me.
can bring different things to it, different instruments, different feel, different styles. And
yeah, I took a video of, we did Belong in an acoustic style, and like when I go back, we're going to be doing a lot more, like have a lot of fun stuff planned acoustically, because I'm really interested, like even though I'm fusing genres, I like to fuse modalities as well. So like electronic, acoustic, I like hearing the differences. And Belong, we literally got there that day. And this is the power of MDs, by the way. If you have a good MD, you can do anything. You can literally fly, okay? Because a good MD, especially in an open mic situation, they can hear a song within like 10 seconds. They're like, these are the chords. And then they're shouting the chords back. You know, like if you see the video on my Instagram, you can hear him being like, and then everyone locks in, and we kind of figured it out on the spot. And it just gave such a different flavor to the song. Like, I found that rendition of the song really spoke to like, kind of like the mystical traveler woman inside me, who's kind of like in silks and scarves and like I felt like a street performer. It felt very almost medieval, because even the flute brought like another energy to it, and the way that I was able to flow just made it feel very warm. And I feel like that is something that's really powerful about an acoustic set. You know, when it's electronic, it's lit, but when it's acoustic, it feels warm, it feels alive, and I really like that.
So going back to a little bit with your latest project, A Place to Belong. With that record, you built a world where belonging is a state of mind, artistic experimentation is medicine, and Afrofuturism is a mirror. Is that a mission statement to how you see yourself evolving musically in years to come?
Yeah, I do like to give myself little Easter eggs. So the same way that I think of like, you know, our great literary greats, like how we analyze them, I try to do that in situ, like while I'm going. So I want it to be that when I look back, or when anyone else looks back, like there's like a clear progression of like, okay, like this is where she started, this is where her mind was at, like this is where she was telling herself she's gonna go, you know, this is where she was affirming the beliefs that she developed, you know. And then as that moves on, I want it to kind of feel like you can walk with me in that, you know, and that we could take these steps together, like even retroactively, like you can take those steps and see that. So I would definitely say, especially with the belonging is a mindset. Like I actually saw a video like just before this, and this woman was talking about this practice she learned in Colombia about putting seeds under your tongue before you plant them. And basically this practice is to familiarize the seed with your DNA. So when you plant it, it has a record of like the nutrients that you need essentially. So when it grows and it bears fruit, like it's almost tailored to you. And I feel like there's so much ancient knowledge that we bypass, or like we might not even believe in, that even if it's not something that's like scientifically true, there's always a message to it, and there's always a reason why they did that, or you know what I'm saying? There's a mindset behind the practice, and that's how I look at my artistic journey. That's how I look at belonging. Like, I've moved a lot of times in my life, like more times than I have fingers on my hands, more times than I have fingers and toes. So I've always been the new kid. You know, I've always been feeling like transient. Like, I've had times in sixth form, like when I first moved from my secondary school to sixth form, which was here around Brighton area from Marlow and High Wycombe. It's really strange. Like, how can I put it? Like, I it's things that I know are already true, but it's like my perspective around them always shifts. So when I'm a child, a small child, I can look out the window and be like, you know, those thoughts that we have are just like, oh, like, imagine a man running next to the car. Or like, I would tell myself, this is just a moment of time, and now this is another moment, and this is another moment, and every second it was like, that second is gone now, you know. And I would really think about that fact of like the passage of time and the version of yourself you were in that moment. Like, and even though that's really deep, it's almost like understanding something and embodying it are two different things, and the space between those concepts could be a lifetime. You could understand something, but it could take you your whole life before you embody it. So I was in my new sixth form. I didn't know anybody. And I just remember having this overwhelming sadness of like feeling like, well, what's even the point of getting to know people? Because I'm just going to move again, you know, like it's not even going to matter. Like, I'm just going to, you know. But I feel like maturing as well, I've definitely come to this place of like, nothing's forever. You know what I mean? Like, so that is your opportunity to either be nihilistic. You can say nothing's forever, be nihilistic, nothing matters, or nothing's forever and be like absurdist and be like, nothing's forever, everything matters. Like, every single second matters. You know what I mean? And it's like maddening how easy it is to do the former and how silly you feel doing the latter. But it just replicates and triplicates into a bigger mindset. So whether you choose to be nihilistic or choose to be absurd, like, that will echo into your whole way of being. So you just got to be careful.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So what does the future hold for you both in the short and the long term?
In the short term, I'm finishing up the B-side. That project is going to be London focused. Breakbeat, darker, sassier, more energy, more footwork, you know? Like, there's a dark, pulsating energy that is the undercurrent of the B-side. The A-side is Afrofusion. It's a love letter to the avoidant side of my personality, you know? It's a little cool to say, girl, it's okay. Come outside. The world is not going to jump you, you know? You're safe. You're powerful, like, acknowledge all these things. And the B-side is like, okay, now we're outside, and you know what? The world might actually jump you. It might jump you. Put your fists up. Like, it's definitely like more of a rebellious kind of like fight back. It's definitely that energy. I'm planning some kind of exciting female features. Like, I just want it to feel like boom. Like, yeah. And the people I have previewed it to, like, they're very excited about it. Like, everyone loves the breakbeats. They're like, this is cool. The soul, this is beautiful, lovely, amazing. When I show them the breakbeat, they're like, yes, give me more. I like that. Give me more. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, so I'm trying to get that to a place where obviously I'm ready to put it out. I also want to work on a lot more visual aspects for the music, because obviously that's very engaging. We're in a social media era, like, that's important. So definitely trying to manifest, you know, like, I want to manifest, but I'm really particular about it because I don't want to just do things for the sake of it sometimes too, especially because this content, like, like I said, it's very soulful, it's very deep to me. So if I feel like I'm writing a song that's not so deep, I feel like I can just do more like superfluous social media stuff. But with this, I feel like I don't really have the urge to do it unless it's really poignant storytelling in some way. So I want to link up with like a bomb creative director, visual artist, and really make a statement in the visual as well as the music. So that's what I'm looking forward to right now. And it's looking like there's a trip back home to Barbados in my cards. And with that, see if we could do it. Our carnival's in August. It's called Crop Over. It's the first week of August, but there's a lot of parties that happen in like July up to it. So without saying too much, there should be some treats happening around that time, music-wise, hopefully. And I think of it like this. I just want to breadcrumb what's to come. Everywhere I go, it's like a little sprinkle of like, that's going to happen over here, and a little something's going to happen over there, and a little something, you know. And then it will all coalesce at some point, which is the long-term aspect. The long-term aspect is, like I said, it's a 4-sided, double vinyl, headline show, big international collaborations, global artists, vibes. That's where I want to be. I want to be amazing. A global artist who is pushing the needle. Yes.
Brilliant. Right, and that brings us to the end of the interview. Have you enjoyed being on?
Yeah, I have. This is my first interview. My first talking interview. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I feel like I had a lot on my Thank you, Martin.
Really well.
Yeah. I think all the time. So I'm like, I was actually a bit nervous. I was like, I hope I don't, you know, like sometimes you hope your thoughts don't kind of like get ahead of what you actually want to say in a way. So yeah,
I tried not really to. Well. Thank you. I'm hoping the questions weren't too samey. Some of them were a bit well written, at least, hopefully.
They were.
So thank you. So have you got any online social media website that you want to give out to people so they can reach you?
You can find me on all platforms at monet.sun, MONET.SUN. Find me. I'm usually bouncing about Instagram. You can find all my links to my music there. Yeah, come say hi.
Brilliant. Monet.sun, all over the social media. So please like, share, follow, and subscribe to the Sound Like Us podcast on Instagram and YouTube for more great interviews like this. And follow the, what do you call it? The merch store that's on Shopify, Sound Like Us podcast on Shopify. Get loads of decent stuff on there. And finally, would you like to introduce your song we're going to play out with?
Hey, so outro for Sound Like Us today. We're going to be bopping along to the lead single, Belong.
I love how you rhymed that. We're bopping along to Belong. Monet, it's been an absolute pleasure. We're going to do this again some point if you're up for doing it. I really appreciate you taking time out of your days on the South Coast to do this. Monet Sun, we're playing out with Belong. Monet, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
I've been riding around the globe, tick, while I sing my song. Feel a rise in your temperature. Ooh, come here's where you belong, belong. You belong, you belong, you belong. I ain't even gonna lie. You reach deep inside. Keep it going till I cry. I just can't deny. Must be the fool. Moving with the tide. Every time you think about me, I thought about us 100 times. My deductions, baby, rooted in a 4th dimension. Crazy, did I forget to mention? Now I got your attention. Walk in my direction. I need your affection. I've been riding around the globe, tick, while I sing my song. Feel a rise in your temperature. Ooh, come here's where you belong, belong. You belong, you belong, you belong. I ain't even gonna lie. You reach deep inside. Keep it going till I cry. I just can't deny. I forget to mention, now I got your attention. Walk in my direction, I need your affection. I've been riding around the globe, tick, 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 while I sing my song. Feel a rise in your temperature, ooh, come here's where you belong. Belong, you belong, you belong, you belong. Work it out, work it out, work it out. Bumper, boxy, yeah, yeah. Work it out, work it out, work it out. Bumper, boxy, yeah, yeah. Every time you think about me, I thought about us 100 times. My deductions,